when that beer was sold, and what the selling point of it was is they wanted to make the best beer, and they tried the first recipe, no good, the second recipe, the 40th recipe. Finally, on the 102nd recipe, they got a beer. They said, hey, this is what everybody's going to like, and hence we have Brew 102. And probably on about the 102nd time, I finally got, the guy's telling me the right things. Feelings aren't facts. We have a way of making everything we feel into a fact. You know, I'm too fat. Where does that come from? But we make I'm too fat into a feeling. Excuse me, we take a feeling I'm too fat and we make it into a fact. And no matter what anyone's going to tell us, as long as we believe that facts are facts, we're going to be going uphill for the rest of this lifetime. If you understand that they're just feelings, I know this is going to be an absurd comment, but there's practically nothing in this life that's a fact. It's all by agreement. When we're that blank canvas coming into the world, we're empty with all of this stuff. And we go along and we fill up the canvas, and that becomes things we from then on consider are facts, and we never even concern ourselves with the idea we may have been wrong. So again, the biggest single problem we have on getting what we want out of life is not knowing that pretty much everything we believe is a feeling, and we're labeling it with fact. Some of the faulty organizing principles, and by the way, everything that you're seeing in this is some form of my life's experience, and whether any of this is the least bit right or wrong, it's stuff that I've gotten from my lifetime, and I wrote this book for me. And every time I go into like a real problem, I go back to a short list I have of this, and the answers are always there. So some of the things are, they don't deserve my respect. I have to fight to be seen and heard. If I compromise, I'm weak and I won't survive. So these are organizing principles that in my universe I've done. If you think about your own organizing principles, they're there. It may be that if I'm Mr. Nice Guy, I'll get what I want. We all have this system of feel we deserve something. So if you like do penance all the time, if whatever it is, if you donate all your time and money to charity, you're supposed to win. These are just organizing principles, no truth to them at all. As long as you have those organizing principles, you're stuck in the past. The thing you have to do is create new organizing principles. And the way you find out is you distinguish which are the old organizing principles, and generally it takes a guide to do this. You know, you need a guide, could be in a book, a guide could be a therapist, a guide could be your best friend. It's someone that can help you see that you are seeing things from a point of view that really isn't accurate. Once you know what your options are, you start with new organizing principles, positive principles, and principles that give possibility where there was no possibility before. The possibility that I could be like my self-image. I could have enough money. I could have the love that I want. Examples, these same things, when you get these new ones, and you say that instead of people in authority giving me a bad time, it could be men in authority positions may be right and may deserve my respect. If you hold that out as a possibility, you're going to be a lot happier in your job than if you think that everybody, that everyone that's higher up in the way is going to crush you. I can be heard and seen with positive self-expression and without confrontation. It's a sign of strength and maturity when I choose to compromise. So it's just how you hold everything in life. The most important of all things is to be in the now. And again, whenever you're thinking of something that's already happened or fantasizing or predicting something that's going to happen, you are not in the now. Your machinery is running your life, and no matter what's going on in front of you, you're missing out on it. The only time you can really be at peace with yourself is when you're in the now. If someone were to come up and stick a gun in your face, you're not in the past and you're not in the future. You're defending yourself, you're doing what you need, and you're not even really all that upset for the moment. You're just acting. You're doing what you need to do, you're in the now. The way you get to know that you're in the now is by interrupting that voice in your head. First, before you can interrupt the voice in the head, you have to accept it's just a voice in my head. When you got that it's just a voice in my head, you have options. You have other possibilities. When you can distinguish that it's the voice in the head, you are being conscious. That's the beingness that you are. checking out whether you're really awake or whether you're just being run by something that happened 20 years ago. We react to everything. All we do is react. Under any circumstances, no matter what it is. Someone's nice to you, you react. Someone says something you don't like, you react. Your food isn't at the table the way you like it, you react. The food is at the table the way you like it, you react. All we do is react. And unfortunately, anytime something happens where the reaction, where that voice in our head says, I'm not getting what I'm supposed to get, we generally react negatively. Believe me, I've acted out, as my girlfriend Victoria will say, more than necessary. Most of the time, we don't even know that we are engaged in our machinery being in charge of us. And there are clues to knowing when the machinery is running us. If you're anxious, it's running you. If your breathing is messed up, it's running you. If you're being defensive, it's running you. If you're angry, it's running you. If you're upset, it's running you. There is, and by the way, there just is no argument with that. It just is. And as soon as you get that you're being run by that voice in your head, and you are not, then you start to know, I'm not really present. As soon as you can interrupt that and say, voice in the head, I see it's my voice in the head, you may be right or wrong, thank you, I'm going to check out what really happened, you immediately come into the now. When you're in the now, no matter what the situation is, you're safe. There's not a one of us here that isn't going to die. Yet we're all worried about it most of the time. What's all of that about? You know, that's the voice in the head that wants to dictate how things should be. Once you accept that things are going to be the way they're going to be, you could find peace. When that voice in the head is taking over, the only real choice you have, distinguish, replace the principle that's not working for you with one that has possibility. And these are the new guiding principles we talked about. Once you get all of that, you got everything you're going to get. If you really can live in that condition, there's two things left. One of them is to live fearlessly. That voice in the head is always scared. It's always fear-based. If you can live fearlessly, you're in the moment, and you're going forward, and you're going to experience a life that you dream of. But that's hard to do. It takes work. But that's the only way you're going to get there, is to live fearlessly and try out what you think you need to try out. You have to be courageous. You can't enter new zones. You can't be fearless when your survival's at stake. Got to be courageous. And it's hard to be courageous, but you have to just allow yourself to know there's a choice. Success or failure is all the way you hold it. It's letting go of the past to judge what's happening right now on its own merit. You got into a car crash? Okay. Are you alive? Okay. Do you have insurance? Yeah, okay. The other person okay? Yeah, okay. Instead of, most of us, we get in a car crash, it'll set us in, and I mean just a little fender bender. It could take days before we calm down from it. Going into unknown territory, if you want to really live your life, is the only choice you have. There is no fun or no anything rewarding in what's already happened. You got that juice when you did it. You're not going to get that juice playing the same part over and over. You have to face your fears and not give in to them. You give in to them, the voice in your head's right back, taking charge of everything. Living fearlessly doesn't mean bad things aren't going to happen, and doesn't mean there aren't going to be fearful things. It means acknowledging your fears, being in the now, just doing what needs to be done at the time without worrying about anything other than getting the job done, and your life will work for you. You're always moving into the present, but when that voice in your head is working, you're still back in your past. I'm now complete. Good. And are there, I